Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now let's start with the first story. It's called Following Instructions. Years ago, while working in a structural steel shop, I was fabricating a column with multiple connecting plates, gaskets and other components. One day we were given a stack of parts to fit onto the columns, but there was a problem. The holes on them were the wrong size. When our supervisor found out, he wasn't happy. He came out and gave us a hard time, saying we should have caught the mistake before using them. We pointed out that the person who made the parts should have checked them first. But the supervisor insisted it was our responsibility to inspect everything. It just so happened that the person responsible for the bad parts was a close friend of his. So we took his instructions very seriously. After that, we carefully checked every single part before using it. And of course, this slowed production significantly. The boss eventually noticed the drop in productivity and asked why things were moving so slowly. We simply told him, "We are following instructions." The next story is called Deli Stare-Off. Back when I was a new cashier at a grocery store, I unknowingly pulled off my first act of malicious compliance. It was 9:58 PM, just 2 minutes before closing. The deli was spotless, the equipment was shut down, and everyone was relieved the night was almost over. Then a customer arrived with a very specific request: freshly sliced boar's head turkey at precisely level 4. I politely offered pre-sliced turkey at a 3, neatly packaged and ready to go. They refused, dramatically declaring, "I would have even settled for store brand, but clearly you refused to negotiate." I completely froze, out of sheer panic. Unable to speak or move, I unintentionally created an awkward silence. The customer interpreted my frozen terror as firm, unwavering defiance. A tense stare-off ensued, lasting just long enough for them to finally give up and storm off, muttering something about Yelp on the way out. Sure enough, they left a dramatic 2-star review, accusing me of refusing basic turkey slicing courtesy. My manager read it, shrugged, and said, "Well done, you followed policy perfectly." Turns out I had accidentally complied maliciously, and strangely enough, some customers actually praised me for standing my ground. Retail really is something else. The third story is called Lazy Managers. When I was a lactation nurse almost a decade ago, I was one of only 2 covering the entire hospital at night. But only one of us was there on any given shift, and we had to cover multiple units. Our unit director told us that the nurse case managers, who worked during the day, were too busy to arrange home breast pumps for patients, even though durable medical equipment was technically their responsibility, and they didn't do any direct patient care. At the time, they only ordered pumps for patients who had to be separated from their babies or had specific issues, like low birth rate. So it really wasn't that time consuming. Maybe 2 to 3 patients per shift, shared between 2 case managers. Now, believe it or not, breastfeeding is way harder at night. New parents are exhausted, sleep deprived, and trying to nurse a tiny, ravenous night owl. On top of supporting them, we had to take over the pump duty, while also rounding on all the babies and mother baby. 24 rooms, checking on any kiddos with feeding issues in other units, and responding to pages across the hospital. This meant verifying patient addresses, phone numbers, and offering them freedom of choice for the company they'd use to order the pump. Then we had to track down the doctor on call for a prescription, so case management could fax it over the next day. That was the one part they were willing to do. I was passionate about my job, but I also had a bit of a bold side, so I happily agreed, but with a twist. I didn't just get prescriptions for high-risk babies. I got prescriptions for every single baby in the hospital who was being breastfed, every single shift. And I convinced the other night lactation nurse to do the same. Suddenly, every breastfeeding family went home with a double electric pump, because the Affordable Care Act made insurance cover them. The case managers suddenly had dozens of scripts to fax and follow up on. The doctors and midwives were not thrilled about signing 15 times more prescriptions than usual. But no one could argue with my logic. Every parent deserves a pump covered by insurance. And since this was a baby-friendly hospital, a designation they worked hard to attract patients, anyone who protested just looked ridiculous. The last story is called What He Asked For. Earlier this week, a customer at work left his number for me, after we had a fun bit of lighthearted banter while I took his order. I'm not looking for anything at the moment, and he also seemed quite a bit younger than me. So I decided to message him just to be polite and let him know my actual age. He responded that it didn't matter, and I didn't hear from him for 24 hours. So I figured, okay, that's the end of that. Last night, after finishing work, I checked my phone and saw a message from him. He was asking for saucy photos. So naturally I walked over to the sports bar, snapped a picture of the tray of sauces sitting there and sent that to him. Problem solved. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.